I ngā mana, i ngā reo, i ngā iwi o ngā hō e whā. Tēnei aku mihi mahana ki a koutou. Kia ora tātou katoa, nau mai, haere mai rā, ki te whare kawana. I specifically acknowledge the Honourable Nanaia Mahuta, Minister of the Crown, Rachel Hayward, Deputy Secretary of Cabinet, our kuia Puhi Wāhine Tibble, our kaumātua Joe Harawira, tēnā koutou. And I offer a very special welcome to today's honour recipients. It's a real pleasure to host this investiture ceremony and bring together 14 honour recipients, along with their whānau and friends, to recognise the contributions they've made to our country. As Governor-General, I have the authority and the privilege, on behalf of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen of New Zealand, to hold investitures for her and to confer royal honours, our nation's highest honours, on individuals who've made exceptional contributions to their communities and to our nation. Hosting an investiture ceremony is one of the most important duties I perform as Governor-General, as it enables me to thank them on behalf of all New Zealanders for helping to make Aotearoa New Zealand a better place to live. Some recipients have a public profile on a national scale. Others will be well known in their particular communities. But what they have in common is the positive impact they've had on the economic, environmental, social and cultural well-being of our nation. I hope this will be a memorable day for you and for your whānau and friends who've come to witness your investiture and celebrate with you. Shortly, Catriona McLeod will read a citation for each recipient and invite them to come forward to receive their insignia. And ladies and gentlemen, I invite you, as each recipient comes forward, to join me in congratulating and thanking them for their service to our country.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a Dame Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Dame Karen Potassi of Paraparaumu for services to education and the state. Dame Karen Potassi was appointed a Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit in 2006 for her services to health administration. Dame Karen has worked as the Chief Executive of the New Zealand Qualifications Authority, NZQA, since 2006. After spending 30 years in the health sector, she joined the education sector at a time when there were public concerns around the implementation of NZQA's school qualifications framework. In her time as Chief Executive, public confidence in NZQA has increased, as has performance in school qualifications assessment. NZQA also quality assures the non-university tertiary education sector and administers the codes of pastoral care. She is currently Commissioner of the Waikato District Health Board as of May 2019. She is also Deputy Chair of the Crown-owned company Network for Learning and chairs the New Zealand Appointment Committee for Harkness Fellowships, awarded by the Commonwealth Fund of New York. She was a panel member of the Havelock North Drinking Water Inquiry from 2016 to 2017. She is a member of Global Women New Zealand and has been chair of Basketball New Zealand. From 2007 to 2011, Dame Karen volunteered on the board of Presbyterian Support Central. Dame Karen Potassi, please come forward. Your Excellency, to be a companion of the Queen's Service Order, Ms. Claire Wells of Waipu for services to early childhood education. Claire Wells is a board member of the Teaching Council of Aotearoa New Zealand and Te Rito Maioha Early Childhood New Zealand. She has bolstered these organisations through her well-established early childhood networks, as well as her involvement in cross-sector initiatives and advisory groups. She was the chief executive of New Zealand kindergartens. She championed and campaigned for universal access to quality early childhood education services, the development of a qualified and progressive teaching workforce, and a partnership with government that supports the growth of community-based services. She chaired the Teachers' Council, now the Education Council, Early Childhood Advisory Group. Ms. Wells is known for her collaborative leadership style, and she was instrumental in the development of the first Early Learning Strategic Plan. Ms. Claire Wells, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of an Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mrs. Lisa Allpress of Whanganui for services to the racing industry. Lisa Allpress is a professional jockey who in 2013 was the first woman in New Zealand to achieve 1,000 career wins. She now has more than 1,600 wins, including around 100 international wins. She has won 4 national jockey premierships. She has been an ambassador for the sport of racing nationally and internationally. In 2019, she rode in the World All-Stars Jockey Series in Japan. In 2020, she was the first woman jockey to win a race in Saudi Arabia, competing in a World Jockey Series race meeting. She is a patron and former president of the Whanganui Jockey Club. Mrs. Allpress often volunteers for riding for the disabled in Whanganui and organised a fundraising dash at the Whanganui Jockey Club's 2019 Cup Day. Mrs. Lisa Allpress, please come forward. Mr. Alastair Davis of Palmerston North for services to the motor industry, business and sustainability. Alastair Davis has had a career with Toyota New Zealand for 40 years, including as chief executive. He assisted the leadership of motor industry transitions and the drive towards sustainability in vehicles and the delivery of a new industry service model. He helped to launch the Toyota Racing Series for young New Zealand drivers. He's been involved in Toyota's sponsoring the Sustainable Business Network and Lexus Songquest, Emirates Team New Zealand Challenging for the America's Cup, and the Department of Conservation's Kiwi Guardians program. He was president of the Motor Industry Association and chair of the Sustainable Business Council. He is a Massey University Council member and chaired the university's College of Business Advisory Board. Mr. Davis has had a long involvement with Alpha New Zealand. Mr. Alastair Davis, please come forward. Mr. Guy Salmon of Nelson for services to the environment. Guy Salmon has worked to the benefit of New Zealand's environment for many years, leading the Ecologic Foundation and its predecessors. He co-founded the Native Forest Action Council and led several campaigns to protect native forests. He has been a policy advisor to governments and the boards of Crown entities. He was a member of the advisory group on green growth and the Land and Water Forum. He has served on the boards of Landcare Research Limited and the Energy and Conservation Authority, and as a trustee of the Cawthron Institute. He is a trustee of the New Zealand Landcare Trust and a member of the Environmental NGOs Leadership Forum. Mr. Salmon has advised local governments on urban issues and has helped businesses to develop environmental strategies. Mr. Guy Salmon, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Professor Bronwyn Hayward of Christchurch, for services to political science, particularly sustainability, climate change and youth. Professor Bronwyn Hayward is a director of Hei Puawaitanga, Sustainable Development and Civic Imagination Research Group, and a professor of political science at the University of Canterbury. She is a co-lead investigator with the Centre for Understanding Sustainable Prosperity, or CUSP, at the University of Surrey, UK. She was a coordinating lead author for the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and a member of the core writing team for the IPCC 6th Climate Assessment Report. She is foundation chair of the New Zealand Political Studies Working Group on Civics, Citizenship and Political Literacy Education. Professor Hayward's published books include Sea Change, Climate Politics and New Zealand, and Children, Citizenship and Environment. Professor Bronwyn Hayward, please come forward. Mr. Dixon Jardine and Mrs. Gillian Jardine of Queenstown for services to philanthropy and conservation. Dixon Jardine and Gillian Jardine gifted a 4-hectare remarkable station property on Lake Wakatipu to the University of Otago to be held in perpetuity as an academic research retreat known as Hakitekura. They gifted 9 hectares of land to the QE2 National Trust to be held in perpetuity for conservation and recreation. This area of land, known as the Jardine's Boulders Field, is known for its glacial boulders that attract tourists and climbers from around the world. Mr. and Mrs. Jardine have also organised a fundraising event for the neurology chair at Otago University and supported local cultural activities in the Queenstown Lakes area. Mr. Dixon Jardine and Mrs. Gillian Jardine, please come forward. Ms. Jan Murphy of Christchurch for services to education and children with intellectual disabilities. Jan Murphy, as a speech therapist, was one of the founding clinicians of the Champion Centre, New Zealand's largest early intervention service, which provides family-centred, multidisciplinary early intervention for infants and young children with developmental delays and disabilities. Ms. Murphy served as clinical practice manager for more than 20 years. She has supported children and their families as they attended programs aged between birth and school entry and as they transitioned into either a mainstream or a special school. She has mentored parents, team members and students in therapeutic techniques to facilitate child development and help produce teaching resources with the New Zealand Down Syndrome Association. Ms. Jan Murphy, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the Queen's Service Medal, Mr. Peter Eason of Ototo for services to the community. Peter Eason organised the IHC's Rural Appeal collections for 40 years. He was chairman of the Ototo Scouts Committee. He has been president of the Ototo Lions Club, the Ototo JCs, and the Ototo Bowling Club. He was chairman of the Ototo St John Area Committee, leading fundraising for a health shuttle for Western Southland. He helped oversee the refurbishment of the Ototo Town Hall. He is secretary and treasurer of the Ototo Athletic Society Trust and the Ototo Returned and Services Association. Mr. Eason was on the Southland District Allocations Committee and was an Ototo Medical Trust member. Mr. Peter Eason, please come forward. Mr. Paul Duffy of Edendale for services to the community and local government. Paul Duffy is a Southland District Councillor and former Deputy Mayor. He chairs the South Catlins Charitable Trust, the Southland Regional Heritage Committee and Arts Murihiku. He is a member of Toi Toi Tokanui Lions and the Wyndham Agricultural and Pastoral Society Committee. He served on the boards of the Community Trust of Southland and Sister Cities New Zealand. He has chaired the Edendale Jubilee Committee and School Boards of Trustees. Mr. Duffy is a life member of the Southland Otago Ayrshire Club and honorary life member of the New Zealand Ayrshire Association, having been a director and president. Mr. Paul Duffy, please come forward. Mr. Peter Goodbehere of Napier for services to film. Peter Goodbehere was a foundation member and president of the Napier branch of the New Zealand Federation of Film Societies, NZFFS, where he was responsible for significant membership growth. He has been a member of the NZFFS Executive Committee in various roles since 1962. He was the National Federation's projectionist and film handler until digital mediums became the norm. He established Napier's Century Cinema, the first art house cinema in Hawke's Bay, and was its manager and projectionist. Mr Goodby here is a member of the Chamber Music Society of New Zealand's Napier Committee and the Hawke's Bay Jazz Club Committee. Mr Peter Goodby here, please come forward. Mrs. Angela Keenan of Hokitika for services to sport, particularly netball. Angela Keenan has contributed to netball in Hokitika in a variety of roles, including as president, secretary and coaching coordinator for Hokitika Netball Centre since 1984. She has coordinated coaching programs for 20 years and attended the New Zealand Netball Championships as a senior coach and U15 coach. She organised the Netball Summer Fitness Programme for 15 years. She organises junior basketball for the Westland Basketball Association and running for the Hokitika Athletic Club. She drove the development of a new sports complex at Westland High School. Mrs. Keenan is a life member of the Old Girls Netball Club. Mrs. Angela Keenan, please come forward. Dr. Judith Lowes of Tauranga for services to women and roller sports. Dr. Judith Lowes has held several roles with Soroptimists, including time in New Zealand's highest role as representative for the South West Pacific to Soroptimists International. She is secretary of the Tauranga branch of the National Council of Women and has been delegate to national conferences. She was the NCW representative on the Tauranga City Council Suffrage 125 Committee. She helped coordinate Suffrage 125 events through Soroptimists. Dr. Lowes is a member of the New Zealand Federation of Roller Sports and Skate New Zealand, chief calculator for New Zealand, and a roller sports moderator for New Zealand and Australia. Dr. Judith Roberta Lowes, please come forward. Your Excellency, the investiture has concluded.
Our honours system is our nation's highest public affirmation of outstanding individual achievement. It reinforces values and behaviours that sustain our communities and help our nation thrive and prosper. And these include service, courage, manaakitanga, and the pursuit of knowledge and excellence. By using their talents to make ours a better society, whether by service to their communities or by their leadership in diverse fields of endeavour, or their commitment to excellence in their own area of expertise, our recipients have set a fine example to others. To the recipients, it's been a real privilege to hear your stories today. You've demonstrated determination, commitment and compassion in your daily lives. In your own way, each of you has helped make Aotearoa New Zealand a better place to live. In some cases, your influence and the positive impact of your work has extended beyond our shores. Your achievements reflect the spirit of the late US Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg when she said, "If you want to be a true professional, you will do something outside yourself, something to make life a little better for people less fortunate than you." That's what I think a meaningful life is, living not for oneself, but for one's community. On behalf of all New Zealanders, I thank you for the contributions you have made to the well-being of our communities and our nation. Whether by dedicating your lives to the public good, achieving distinction in your chosen field, or inspiring others with your leadership. Please wear your insignia with pride, knowing that your contributions are recognised and valued, and others are inspired by your example. Kia ora hui tātou katoa. Ladies and gentlemen, that almost brings to a close the formal part of today's ceremony, but before we break for refreshments, I would ask you to stand and join me in singing our national anthem.